Hi, nice to meet you. That's where it was.
Hi, we're here in front of the White House, and I saw that you have signs and banners. It says we need action for Nicaragua now. So why are you here, and let me know what's going on.
Okay, the reason right now in Nicaragua, the government killed the people. We have at the moment 770 prisoners, political prisoners in Nicaragua. At the moment we have people in the dialogue in Nicaragua try to help get all the people out of the prison. We have right now, in the last few minutes, 10 women in huelga de hambre. I don't know how to say huelga de hambre in English, but the reason is we are here to protest and support the people from Venezuela also, because they have the other regime, other dictatorship, kill people. Also, Nicaragua needs help, a lot of help. We have the NICA Act, and we need the sanction for the government, because right now the government has too much power and they need to get out from Nicaragua. That's the reason right now.
Okay, and about Venezuela, are you for Maduro or Guaido?
We are against Maduro. We are with the people. We are with the people in Venezuela. They're suffering right now because they don't have medicine, they don't have food. They need help also. And United States need to help the new president, Guaido, to support. They need a lot of support. We know we have 60 countries recognized Guaido like a president, but we need more support for that people also.
What do you think about the fact that America, that we have so many sanctions put on Venezuela right now? Maduro was elected democratically. Guaido really wasn't. So what do you think about that?
That's the problem. When they make elections, they don't make a democratic elections. They say they win for the 67%. In case of Nicaragua, they say because they changed the constitution. In the beginning, the constitution say when you get the election, you have to win the 50% plus one. And they downgrade up the number from 35%. That's the 35% vote for Daniel Ortega in this case. Venezuela got the same issue. They create elections, but they say they win because we know, in fact, in Nicaragua, people vote twice. That means that's the way they can win. They take it out, presente. That's the reason the election is not democratic election.
Okay, great. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for speaking with me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Good. Hi guys, Jen here. I am here in front of the White House, and for some reason, the visiting, space that they have in front of the White House has been dramatically pulled back. I'm not sure why, but maybe I'll flip around and show you here. So we're all the way on the sidewalk, and it used to be that we could get right up to those gates right in front of the White House. So not sure what's going on. Maybe there's a high profile person visiting, but we will see. I've just interviewed someone from Nicaragua also talking about Venezuela, and they have kind of a different take on it than I do and that others like Abby Martin do. But I'm here to interview people and see their opinions and see what's going on.
También por falta de medicinas. Por eso ellos siguen con esta lucha, que empezó muy temprano en el edificio del Senado de Estados Unidos.
So it seems here we have some potential supporters of Trump, purportedly for helping the Venezuelan people.
Esta jornada empezó muy temprano en el edificio del Senado, en el Comité de Relaciones Exteriores, y siguió aquí en la Casa Blanca, y después continuó en el...
Hi, are you interested in talking about why you're here today? No? Okay, that's fine. Again, there's the White House. Do you guys want to talk about why you're here today? Okay. This says independent Venezuelan American citizen. Would any of you like to talk about why you're here today? Do you want to talk about why you're here today? What you're accomplishing today? Why you're here?
Because of the Venezuelans they're trying to help. Oh,
I'm just gonna hold it.
no, yo no hablo inglés. Ay, sí, habla. Termina de hablar. Explica.
Just to support Venezuela. What are you for Maduro or
No.
So you're
Remember,
for
the Maduro is a dictator. Yes.
Okay, and you're from Venezuela?
From Venezuela, we have a president right now. Legitimate is Pro-Guaido. That's what I'm supporting. We're trying to get our Congress, our American Congress, to vote to help us out. Because all day, every day, is people dying in the hospital because we don't have medicines, we don't have basic supplies. That's why we're here.
How much of a role do you think that American sanctions have played in the devastation Venezuela is going through right now?
That's totally wrong. All the sanctions that is being imposed right now is for politicians that have billions and billions of dollars from Venezuelan people. That's what's going on. The sanctions started in, I'm not sure, but wasn't long ago, and we live in this situation for a long time. It's a lot of people complaining and saying that we have a lot of, this regime is being killing people. It's being our human rights is being totally, messed up. This regime doesn't have any kind of worry about people. They didn't let the humanitarian help go to Venezuela.
How do you feel about the way Guaido was kind of chosen? He wasn't elected. He was kind of placed.
No.
Okay.
The elections that have been placed, the last elections, the presidential elections, weren't legitimate. We have in our constitution, if we don't have someone chosen by the people, that is going to make, we have in our constitution, is legitimate. He is following if you don't have a president elected, our congressman, the right one that elected by the people, have the right to be in charge till have legitimate elections in Venezuela.
What do you think about those Venezuelans who are sticking by? No more? Okay.
Libertad, 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 libertad.
Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Here we are in front of the White House, and we have a man who has a tent here, and he's been here for a long time, I believe. Do you want to talk more about why you're here?
Yeah, I'm here. A mission statement is for world peace, against nuclear and atomic industry, and against human rights violations.
Wonderful. And what do you think about this protest that's happening right now? The Venezuelans here seem to be pro-Guaido and anti-Maduro.
Actually, I've seen both sides. So I've seen some with signs that they might have been chased off, but they were here on both sides. I don't know if they're cohabiting, but they probably wouldn't be so peaceful with each other. Well, I do not believe Maduro legally won the last election. I have a lot of people on the ground in Venezuela I communicate with all the time. I also have been helping out Venezuelan students for quite a while, but particularly right now, two are going to University of Peru in Trujillo from the assistance that I do from raising funds here. And while I am I'm not a right-winger, but I don't think that what Maduro has done has made things easy, that somebody wasn't going to rise up and try to control the government. I mean, there was a way of being easier upon his own populace than to have over 3.5 million Venezuelans fleeing and seeking refuge in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Spain, and the last count that I saw was 380,000 in the United States of America. So they're seeking refuge in many countries. So there's some blame to go that way, but I wouldn't say for the United States to choose to topple him without the. If it was international criminal courts, that's not the United States. Of course, Donald Trump has to have an opinion on everything, and he's voiced his opinion on this one. I'm not going to take it to nowhere near the level of Donald Trump. There's no perfect government, and Maduro wasn't running the government perfectly. So, like we see here, there's a lot of people who come out and protest against Donald Trump. So there's enough voice with action against Donald Trump. There was voice without action that was going on in Venezuela. But I'm not going to take it to the point of Theresa May and Donald J. Trump or Bolsonaro.
Well, I have to say I was surprised by the fact that there are so many pro-Guaido here, because people don't seem to be taking into account the American sanctions, the fact that we have a long history of regime change wars, and that seems to be exactly where we're heading. What do you think about that?
Of course. I mean, I was protesting before this vigil ever existed here against what was going on and what was being set up under Ronald Reagan's governorship of the state of California, and the treatment of people at the border to cross into California from places like Nicaragua, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Oh, wow. I just named the same ones that are in the caravan that are supposedly coming here to do something against us. Maybe if the United States didn't do things in their countries, they wouldn't have things to escape from.
Right.
But a lot of people I have no problem with anyone being, proudly a U.S. citizen, but for them to have this idea of the fake story, which passes for what's called history, and the forgotten story about what we've done in Panama included, what we've done in, Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, Herzegovina, what we've done in Somalia, what we've done in Iraq, what we've done in Afghanistan. Right. And also, when somebody has a green energy platform and they fund the Brazilian and the Venezuelan petroleum industry, and it's Venezuela and Brazil that right now happen to have something that's going on, that now a president, the very next one, will say that now he supports a regime change in one, but he's liking the Bolsonaro trip, because Bolsonaro trip is almost like his kind of demonization, of the people. Just as Carnival ended, now he's anti-Carnival. Bolsonaro, the largest carnival on the planet Earth, is the Brazilian Carnival. And now he's anti-Carnival, which, he ran to be president of Brazil. He should have known which country he's running to be president of if he's going to end up being outside Carnival. Carnival, it brings more money into Brazil than the Olympics or the World Cup brought into Brazil annually. But it's annually. You know, it's like Brazil just had an Olympics. It probably won't come back for 40 years if it comes back within 40 years. And they just had a World Cup, and it probably won't come back for 40 years if it comes back within 40 years. But Carnival's yearly, and they're making money, huge money off it. So I think I put my money back behind something that you're going to make money on more frequently, even though it shouldn't. A lot of things shouldn't be only about money. But if you're thinking about the infrastructure, the amount of money, which means then the amount of tax money that you can make from the people who have made money during Carnival, which then you could use to actually have good programs, or in the case of Bolsonaro, programs to screw women. Because, I mean, you know, he's very anti-woman. He thinks a woman should be paid 67% of the same wages as men because they are the ones that carry the baby. But I say then men strap up. And men, if you get women pregnant, let's do this. Let's reduce the pay of the man for that by that 33% for the first 9 months and the first 5 years of that child's life. And he's got that 33% then now goes to the woman. You want to reduce a woman's wage? Well, hey, a woman didn't get herself pregnant. I'm just saying.
True. That's very true.
All right.
What does that sign say? Fake emergency, fake president, real loser, real traitor. I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you. Thank you. So this is a very active place. So far, I keep dropping it. Thank you so much. So far, I haven't found any pro-Maduro folks, but apparently they may be. Okay, they are now clearing out even the sidewalk. Maybe I can ask this guy, this policeman, why. May I ask why are we so far back from the White House?
It's just a temporary closure.
For this particular protest?
So you're saying right? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we don't know why, but we're being pushed back even further. As I said, normally you could go right up to those gates that you see there, and that's where everyone gathers every single day for protests, for rallies, just, you know, people, tourists go there. But right now we're on the sidewalk, and now we're being kicked off of the sidewalk. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure it matters.
Guys, I need everybody to start going up now, though, okay? It's closed, guys. Gotta move, gotta move, gotta move. The park is closed. Gotta go.
Why is this particular protest being moved so far back?
That's what they told us to do. Gotta move. Keep going.
So we have no answers.
Go, folks. Let's go. Park is closed. Let's go.
How far back does everyone have to move?
Main road.
Is there a particular reason?
Just told us to close the park, so we close the park.
Does it have to do with this particular Venezuelan protest?
Has nothing to do with anybody. We just have to close the park.
So they keep giving the canned answers. They won't respond. And here we have a bunch of Venezuelans protesting. And we're being moved extremely far back from the White House. It doesn't make any sense. I've never seen this. I've been to a lot of White House protests because I live fairly close. I've never seen this in my life. I have only seen this for the Venezuelan protest. So I'm not sure what's going on. Not getting any answers. I'm going to try to interview some more folks. Let's see what they think about having been moved so far back. Why do you think everyone's being moved so far back from the White House?
What?
Why do you think everyone's moved so far back from the White House?
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know.
I've never seen this, and I've seen a lot of protests here.
They say we move it up. I don't know why.
Until it opens back up, then when we open it back,
Go there. We need to go there.
it's only temporary. You guys can't sit. Gotta keep going.
Okay, they said it's only temporary.
See that statue? That statue right there, that whole corner is yours until we open this back up.
Here we have a Make Venezuela Great Again hat. It's very interesting, the different points of view, and as passionate as people are about Maduro, they're as passionate about Guaido, and no one seems to really want to answer why they would support Guaido. Hi, can I ask you a question? A quick one. Do you support Guaido or Maduro?
Guaido.
You
Guaido es
do.
mi presidente.
Okay. What about the fact that he wasn't elected? He was kind of appointed.
He was elected. He was elected with the National Assembly, and that's the
But
president.
is that the people?
That's the people. We Venezuelans elected the National Assembly, and the National Assembly is right now the only entity that was elected by Venezuelans. That's why we say he is our legal president. That's why we say Maduro is usurping a space that he shouldn't have.
Are you aware of anyone here who supports Maduro instead? Okay, so this is a pro-Guaido. Okay, thank you. We continue moving along with Secret Service and police being kicked way far away from the White House. It doesn't make any sense. I think I'm about to get run over by a horse. All right, so we're continuing to be pushed back. They're very enthusiastic about pushing people back. From what I just heard from one of the people I interviewed, this is a completely pro-Guaido protest. Pro-Trump, it seems, pro-Guaido. No pro-Maduro that I have interviewed so far. Right now we're all gathered extremely far back from the White House. Apparently no one is allowed near the White House at all, which I've never seen before. I've been to many of these types of events. So I can speculate, but I have no idea why this has happened.
Inside the balance here. Inside the balance.
Okay, we have to go even further back. Okay, I'll switch it around and try to talk to a couple more people, and then I'll go report some other stuff. We have.
I mean, we don't know why. We just have to close it off for a little while, but it'll be open again.
Yeah, we
It'll be
understand.
open.
Security reasons.
Yeah.
No problem.
How often does it happen that you have to push people back this far?
Sometimes none a day, sometimes 4 times a day, 5 times a day. I mean,
Okay.
What's your horse's name?
his name is Casey.
Oh, sorry.
Casey. Oh, Casey.
So here we have kind of the full scope of this protest right here, the Pro-Guaido protest. I'll give my thoughts on this once I move away from this crowd. But there you go. Venezuela protests been pushed way far back, and some interesting opinions. Hey there, I'm back for now. I've chosen to just sit down. You can't really see it behind all the trees, but the White House is back there. They have, as I said, pushed everyone way, way, way back from the White House. I've never seen it before. I asked several Secret Service and policemen what was going on. No one had any answers. And I kind of believe them. Out of 4 or 5, they all said they didn't really have answers. They didn't know why we were being pushed back. So I don't know if it has anything to do with the Venezuelan protest or not. I kind of think maybe not, because they are pro-Guaido, and that's our government's pro-Guaido. So I'll let you know if anything else happens. The protest is behind me, or to the right of me, so I'll let you know. Again, this is Jen reporting for Status Coup. Jordan is super sick today, so we wanted to give him time to rest. So I am going to be doing the live stream for today, or not the live stream because we've been banned, but I'm going to be recording this video and then, uploading it as a YouTube premiere. So it kind of appears live, but it's not really, but it does have the live chat, which is a really, really good thing. So in addition to the Guaido, Maduro, Venezuela stuff, I wanted to talk about a few other things that are in the media. And I apologize if my nose is super red, my hair's messed up. I've been running around DC all day. And I know you guys don't care as much about appearance as you do stories, because you're awesome. Oh boy. Actually, here comes the entire, let's see here. Here comes the entire Venezuelan march. Venezuela! Venezuela! Okay, so that seems to be the majority of the Venezuelan protesters going by. And as I said, they are not pro-Maduro, which I find interesting. That obviously means that, just like in our country, the facts get skewed. Whenever I ask people, do you support Guaido and why, and what about the fact that he wasn't elected, they referred back to the assembly, which kind of elected him. And they think that's okay because they elected the assembly. Others say, no, that's not how that works. We're supposed to have a democratic election, in which case Maduro was elected. But then the pro-Guaido people say that wasn't a legitimate election. No one's saying Maduro's perfect, but we are saying that we don't need another regime change war. America needs to get its hands out of everywhere. The Twitter, hashtag is hands off Venezuela. So it's very interesting to see this. It's very interesting that we've been pushed so far back. For now, I'm going to try to get into some other stuff. Excuse the noise. It is DC. So first, I kind of want to talk about, and if I'm looking left a little bit, it's because I have some notes here. I didn't actually know I was going to be recording today, so I was already in DC. I was trying to renew my passport for reasons you'll find out, which is very exciting. Woohoo! So Jordan texted me. He's super, super sick, which super, super sick means please support our GoFundMe. For real, I don't mean to beg, but you know, $27 here or there, $10, you know, $100 if you can. It really makes a huge difference. We have a short-term goal to reach $50,000 soon. So that would be great. It'd allow us to upgrade camera equipment. It would allow us to go out in the field again. Everything would be super, super helpful. So that's our GoFundMe for Status Coup. And we will link to it, trust me. So in addition to the Venezuela stuff, I wanted to start out with something that Tulsi Gabbard tweeted. And Tulsi Gabbard is still, of course, not getting her due in the media. She's not being paid attention to at all. And it's disturbing. And she does have to get to 65,000 individual donors by, you know, in order to get into the debates, which is obviously a rule meant to keep her out, but I kind of think she'll get there. I think that there are enough people who are passionate enough about Tulsi and her foreign policy that she can get there. So we'll see. So she tweeted, "We must stand united to condemn religious bigotry and hate expressed towards Rep. Ilhan Omar. Comparing her to 9/11 terrorists is reprehensible." If you haven't heard this story yet, it's crazy. So Ilhan Omar, representative in the House, she tweeted something that did not specifically call out Jews or anything like that. It wasn't anti-Semitic at all, in my opinion. If anything, it had to do with AIPAC, AIPAC, which is an Israel lobbying group. And even Zionists who look into AIPAC say, ugh, this isn't super great. So nothing Ilhan said was anti-Semitic at all. She's not anti-Semitic, and the Democrats were presenting this resolution about anti-Semitism, which obviously there shouldn't be anti-Semitism, but it was based all off of Ilhan Omar's tweets, which is insane. And also comes with a topping of anti-Muslim bigotry, which has long stood. So Ilhan Omar is a Muslim. She is a woman of color. She's black. And the fact that they are writing entire resolutions about something that didn't even happen, aka she did not denounce Jewish people at all, nothing of the sort. And the fact that they are introducing this legislation is insane and not okay. And Tulsi Gabbard, thankfully, tweeted out against this, which is very important. And, you know, we should be grateful to her, because the fact that people are comparing her to 9/11 terrorists is entirely racist. Absolutely racist. So I don't want to get too much into this because we've covered it a lot, and I think the answer is that the Dems need to take a step back. They are receiving a lot of backlash, which is good and important, and they've actually kind of held back their resolution that they were going to submit because they've received such backlash. So, you know, when they say that things you post online don't matter or your feedback doesn't matter, it certainly does. That's how things are measured these days, by Twitter backlash, by social media backlash in general. People want to know what you have to say. And, you know, maybe the DNC doesn't want to know what you have to say, but they have to listen to it when it comes in mass. So keep on going with that. We'll definitely have more on this to say. The story's still developing. Who knows what they will do in the future. and how this will turn out for Ilhan Omar, but we have to stand behind her, and you'll find that many Jewish people, many Zionists are standing behind Ilhan Omar. So that's a very good thing. Another topic I wanted to talk about was the Bernie hate by former Berners and Bernie bros in quotes. Because what's a Bernie bro? It's something created by David Brock and friends. So there are a lot of people that I followed and really admired in 2016. But nowadays, some of them are finding every opportunity they can to kind of denounce Bernie, which is totally within their rights to do. If they have legitimate problems with Bernie and his policies, especially his policies, then it 100% needs to be called out. But sometimes I feel like, depending on the source, depending on what it says, sometimes I feel like it's done just for clicks. It's done just for the sake of controversy. There are legitimate concerns about Bernie. You know, he did not give a good answer on reparations at all. He really needs help with that. He really needs to look to his black supporters and listen. He needs to understand how important it is to give reparations. It is extremely important. It's going to be a major issue in this campaign cycle, I believe. And he needs to give good answers. Not just good answers, but good policies. He needs to believe in it and for the right reasons. We all know that Bernie has been great on civil rights his entire life. But that doesn't mean he gets it all right now. You'll hear a lot of stuff going on in D.C. I'm not quite sure who's yelling right now, but you never know. So I just hope that the people who are giving hate to Bernie, who used to be Bernie supporters on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever, that they keep it to true criticism. Good criticism, valid criticism is an important part of this. We never just want to be fans of Bernie who do whatever he says or whatever his biggest fans say. We want to be independent thinkers and people who get the fact that no one is perfect. Bernie's not perfect. He needs to be pushed too. But that doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Some people are taking it as, oh, he didn't do this one thing right, aka reparations, which I understand how important it is, and saying, oh, Bernie's crap because he doesn't do this. So I think we all need to think about that and think about our role. We don't want to be super fans who think he can do no wrong, and we don't want to be people who take one issue and instead of pushing for it very strongly, just completely denounce the candidate, because I don't believe that's the right way. And I think we can learn a lot by focusing on policies and by pushing for good policies, no matter who the candidate is. Another thing I wanted to cover is getting through this election season okay. As many of you know, I've had some very hard times recently. It's of course not all to do with the 2016 campaign season. You know, it was depressing for Trump to be elected, but that didn't harm me. I'm a lucky person in that it didn't harm me yet. That doesn't mean we ignore it. That doesn't mean people aren't suffering because of it. So I really think everyone should pay attention to their mental health. I have a lot of stuff that's happened in my life that's not good, and recently I've been dealing with it a lot. And some of you know that, some of you don't, but I want to be open about it because I think there's nothing wrong with admitting that you have some mental health stuff you're working through. I have anxiety and depression, and I'm working through it very hard. And by the way, Jordan has been instrumental in helping me through this because he's gone through it too. So it's a lifelong journey, I believe, but I'm working really hard, and I want you all to work hard. Don't let this season get you down. Even if someone you don't like wins, don't let it get you down. Let it help you keep fighting. Let it light a fire under you so you keep fighting. There are going to be a lot of bows and arrows. It's okay. It's all okay. Focus on the policies, focus on the people, focus on the mission, and it will all be okay. Another topic that I wanted to cover is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And a lot of you don't know, but I used to do some work for Justice Democrats, and in some cases I would write some things for AOC and other candidates, and it was a fun time. Like back then, no one knew who would win. I loved all of the candidates equally, like Paula Swearingen and Cori Bush will always have a very special place in my heart, and I hope she runs again. Anthony Clark is just phenomenal, and I will always think of him as the perfect candidate. So it turned out that the one who got elected from the early days of Justice Democrats and brand new Congress was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And now she's turned into somewhat of a celebrity. Not even somewhat, she's a celebrity now. And there are good things and bad things about that. She actually put out an interesting statement the other day saying that people either see me as a villain or as America's greatest hope. And think about that. She's under 30 years old. Not that that has anything to do with it. I'm 30, well, I guess I'm 34 now, which isn't super great. I'm not happy. But, you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in her personal life. She's a person. People forget that. People forget that she has come so far. She's a Latina. She comes from Queens in the Bronx, and she fought really hard for her seat, and she unseated Crowley, who was a deeply, you know, in quotes, important part of the Democratic House. So, but we have to think about the hype and the truth. So I think it's dangerous for people to become fans of AOC instead of really looking at her policies. The good news is her policies are good. The bad news is that we still have to hold our politicians accountable. And I strongly believe that the hype can get in the way of that. There will come a time where she screws up, just like Bernie screws up. And we have to hold our politicians accountable, even if we really like them. I mean, going back to Bernie, I have a life-size Bernie cardboard cutout in my bedroom. I have a Bernie bear in my bedroom. I have untold shirts and sweatshirts of Bernie. But the minute he screws up, I will call him out on it. We can't be fans without actually looking to policies. It's always about the policies. So you'll see AOC's name in magazines and on Fox News constantly. Like AOC seems to be their new, the only thing they post. But think about the policies. Think about how to hold her accountable. Think about how far she's come and how amazing her policies are and will become. And I think, you know, that will help her keep her integrity and keep things going in the right direction. I'm really pleased with what she's done so far. Oh, the next thing I wanted to tell you is that soon I will be going on a trip to Vancouver, Ty and I. And we are going to cover Bill Binney. And if you haven't heard of Bill Binney, he's an NSA whistleblower. He was one of the very, very high ups in the NSA up until 2001, excuse me. And what happened was, it was October 2001 that he left the NSA. And you might be able to figure out by now that it was because of 9/11. So the NSA kind of had some funding differences. and some differences in what people thought that they should do. And there was this one program designed to collect foreign intelligence that didn't do such a great job. So Bill Binney actually developed a better one that could find more information, could warn us more frequently about terrorists, could just do a much better job overall. And it did such a good job that the NSA shut it down. They shut it down before 9/11. And then 9/11 happened, and the intelligence software or program that they went with failed. It 100% failed. And out of curiosity, Bill Binney then ran a test using his software called ThinThread and found that there were so many warnings about 9/11. If they had continued, if the NSA had continued with ThinThread versus the crappy program they were on because it suited their heads up or whatever, lives would have been saved, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. So Bill Binney was the one who fought to prevent something like 9/11, and they didn't allow him to. So Bill Binney resigned in October of 2001. He has since gone on to kind of hold the government accountable because he is an incredible person who incredibly intelligent with the math that it takes to determine these things, incredibly intelligent, probably one of the best people the NSA has ever had. And he used to be the technical director. So for 30 years, by the way. So he was good. He was very, very good. He's since determined that the DNC leaks were leaks and not hacks. And he determined this using mathematical calculations. So that's something people should pay attention to. He's determined that Russiagate is basically bunk based on the data he's collected and the calculations he's done. So he's definitely someone to look into. And the point here is that next week, Ty and I will be interviewing Bill Binney. So please stay tuned for that. We'll be there with Abby Martin, and it's going to be really, really great. And Bill Binney is someone I admire so, so much. So please stay tuned for that. I hate moving through these topics so quickly, but I just don't want to run out of time because I do have an appointment after this. It's a therapy appointment, actually, which is good. A group therapy. I love it. Oops, let me fix my my one earbud here. My hands are frozen, so it's hard to do anything. Another thing I want to talk about is the fact that the DNC is denying Fox News the chance to host DNC debates. They claim that Fox News would not be fair and balanced, fair and neutral. So let's talk about that for a minute. The fact is that CNN, MSNBC, all of those, none of them are neutral, none of them are fair and balanced. Fox News is a tragedy. It was recently determined that they withheld very important information, and they knew things that they should have reported beforehand and they didn't. So that shows a lack of journalistic integrity. However, if we watch Rachel Maddow, every single night we'll see a lack of journalistic integrity. If we watch CNN, we'll see a lack of journalistic integrity. And it makes me sad because before I was more politically enlightened, Anderson Cooper was my guy. Very, very sad. But the reality is, none of them are independent. None of them really talk about the things that they should be talking about. None of them are neutral. So it's in many ways hypocritical for the DNC to deny the chance for Fox to host a debate. I actually think it would be good for Fox News viewers to see the debates from the Democratic side. I think it would be good to be on as many platforms as we can be. The more eyeballs that are on these debates, the better. The more candidates who are in these debates, the better. I've mentioned already that Tulsi needs 65,000 individual donors in order for her to appear on the debates at all. So that's a huge, huge deal. Yeah, so right now there's not much to be done about that. You know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is poking her head in certain places again. Not due to that, but just she's around again. You know, we're hearing from Robbie Mook again. We're hearing from these Clinton people. Many people are equating the Kamala Harris run with Hillary's run for obvious reasons. It's a lot. It really is. So I'm going to leave you for now. You know, you've seen the Venezuela protests. You've heard my kind of take on some of the news topics. Next time I'll be more prepared. Like, we'll plan this in advance so I can show you more, plan more, tell you more info. But hopefully you've had a good time just kind of hearing thoughts and hearing other people's thoughts. And I really kind of beg you, I really do. Many of you know that we've been banned from YouTube live streaming, which is devastating to our business because that's where a lot of our income came from. Whether through super chats or just telling people through the live chat that we were seeking funding or that they could become members. So I'm asking you, please, please, please become a member for as low as $5 a month, or there's an annual option as well. And you can do that at http://statuscoup.com/join. The same for our GoFundMe. We'll have that link for you. Or you can Google Status Coup GoFundMe and it'll pop right up as well. You know, we really need to reach $50,000 in our GoFundMe because that will help us go on more infield trips, and that's really our goal right now. So I'm gonna, let's see, let's look behind. Yeah, no one's still allowed over there. It's very bizarre. You can see back there, nothing. So actually it kind of dispersed the Venezuela protests, which is sad and very interesting, but you never. All right, this has been Jen, and I hope to see you later. Please like this broadcast, and hopefully I'll be on more and more. All right, bye.